Have you ever noticed that high school can turn one tiny problem into a full-scale adventure? One minute, you are walking through the doors feeling completely prepared. And the next, you are searching your backpack, checking the clock, and wondering how the day became so chaotic so quickly. That is exactly why clever ideas can feel like superpowers. Today is packed with funny situations, surprising shortcuts, and unusual high school hacks that make ordinary problems much more entertaining. Some ideas work beautifully, others take a hilarious turn, and the best surprises are still waiting near the end. Let us start with the morning rush, because that is where the chaos usually begins. Your alarm rings, you press snooze once, and somehow 20 minutes disappear. Suddenly, you are trying to get dressed, find your shoes, pack your bag, and remember whether today is the day you need that special assignment. Everything feels urgent. Even breakfast becomes a speed challenge. You finally reach the door, take one confident step outside, and then your brain whispers the most dangerous question of all. Did you actually bring everything you need? That question can follow you all the way to school. Homework? Probably. Notebook? Hopefully. Water bottle? Maybe still on the kitchen table. The funny thing is that your memory becomes extremely creative when it is already too late to turn back. It starts showing you perfect pictures of every item you may have forgotten. Meanwhile, your backpack feels heavier than usual, which should be reassuring, but somehow it only makes the mystery worse. There is just one way to know for sure, and that means opening the bag and facing whatever is hiding inside. Backpacks are supposed to keep everything organized, but after a few busy days, they become tiny black holes. You reach in for one pen and pull out 3 notebooks, a snack wrapper, tangled headphones, an old worksheet, and something you do not remember owning. The object you actually need is always buried at the bottom, underneath everything else. And when you finally find it, the whole desk is covered. Everyone else looks ready for class while you are rebuilding your backpack one item at a time and pretending this was completely intentional. Then comes the hallway. On quiet days, it is simple. On busy days, it feels like a moving puzzle where everyone is walking at a different speed. One person stops without warning. Another is rushing in the opposite direction. 2 friends are having a conversation directly in the middle of the path. You try to pass, change direction, and somehow end up exactly where you started. The bell is getting closer, the crowd is getting thicker, and your classroom suddenly feels much farther away than it did 30 seconds ago. Lockers create their own kind of drama. You know the combination. You have used it hundreds of times. But when someone is waiting behind you, the numbers suddenly look unfamiliar. Left, right, left? Or was it right, left, right? You try again, stay calm, and act as though the locker is the problem. Then it finally opens with 1 second to spare. That tiny victory feels amazing, until something from the top shelf slides forward and reminds you that opening the locker was only the first part of the challenge. The first class of the day has a special atmosphere. Some students look fully awake and ready to answer every question. Others are physically present, but their brains are still loading. Then there is always one person who arrives smiling, organized and full of energy before the first bell. Nobody knows how they do it. The rest of the room is still trying to remember what day it is, but no matter how sleepy everyone feels, the teacher can change the mood instantly with 1 sentence. Please take out yesterday's assignment. That is the moment when time freezes. Papers begin appearing across the room, and you suddenly realize yours is not where it should be. You check the folder. You check the notebook. You check the same folder again, just in case the paper magically returned. Your mind races through every possible location. Maybe it is in another pocket. Maybe it is inside the wrong book. Maybe it is sitting safely at home, enjoying a peaceful morning while you face the consequences. This is where quick thinking becomes very important. Pens have a similar talent for disappearing at exactly the wrong moment. You place one on your desk, look away for 2 seconds, and it is gone. Did it roll onto the floor? Did someone borrow it? Did it enter another dimension? Nobody knows. You search under the notebook, beside the chair, and inside the bag you just organized. Eventually, you borrow another pen. 5 minutes later, the original one reappears in the most obvious place possible, as though it has been there the entire time, and you are the one being unreasonable. Of course, every classroom has one student who is prepared for everything. Need a pen? They have 4. Need paper, tape, scissors, a ruler, or a strangely specific color of marker? Their backpack opens like a tiny supply store. It is impressive and slightly mysterious. Meanwhile, another student has brought exactly 1 pencil, and it is already broken. High school teaches many lessons, but one of the most important is that the person sitting nearby may be the difference between a calm morning and a complete stationery emergency. Then the teacher asks a question. Suddenly, the ceiling becomes fascinating. The clock deserves careful study. Your notebook contains the most interesting blank page you have ever seen. Everyone avoids eye contact with incredible teamwork, hoping the teacher will choose someone else. But teachers have a special ability to sense exactly who is trying to disappear. Your name is called, the room goes quiet, and your brain opens every file except the one containing the answer. Somehow, one helpful clue can rescue the entire situation. Classroom desks also seem to create clutter by themselves. You begin with 1 notebook and 1 pen. 20 minutes later, there are papers everywhere. Your pencil case is open, an eraser is on the floor, and someone else's worksheet has somehow joined the collection. The smaller the desk, the faster the mess grows. Then the teacher starts walking around, and everyone suddenly becomes an expert at looking organized. Papers are stacked, notebooks open wider, and pencils begin moving with impressive speed. Whether anyone knows what they are writing is another question. Every class has familiar personalities. There is the super organized student who is already finished while everyone else is still finding the correct page. There is the last-minute expert who can complete an assignment during the final seconds before it is collected. There is the quiet student who suddenly gives the smartest answer in the room. And there is the class clown who can turn a dropped pencil into a full performance. Put all of them together. Add one unexpected problem, and something memorable is guaranteed to happen. The closer lunch gets, the slower the clock appears to move. The teacher is explaining something important, but your brain has already entered the cafeteria. You check the time and feel certain 10 minutes have passed. It has been 30 seconds. You try to focus again, but then someone opens a snack quietly and suddenly the entire room can hear the wrapper. Every tiny sound becomes dramatic when everyone is waiting for the bell. Time moves differently before lunch, and no scientific experiment has ever convinced students otherwise. Finally, the bell rings, and the hallway changes instantly. Conversations get louder, footsteps get faster, and everyone seems to have the same destination. Finding your friends becomes a small adventure. You spot someone across the crowd, wave, lose sight of them, and then discover they were standing behind you. Cafeteria tables fill quickly, seats become valuable, and one person is always saving a place using a backpack, a jacket, and the confidence of someone protecting important territory. Lunch has not even started, and already there is a story. Opening a lunchbox can be a moment of hope or complete surprise. Sometimes everything looks exactly as expected. Other times the container has shifted. The snack has escaped its wrapper, or the drink has chosen today to become unpredictable. Then the trading begins. One friend wants your chips, another offers half a sandwich for dessert. Someone claims their snack is rare and valuable, even though everyone saw the same box at the store. Within minutes, lunch becomes a marketplace with its own rules, negotiations, and very dramatic final offers. The cafeteria line always looks short from far away. The moment you join it, the line grows. You move forward once, then two more people appear. Someone is deciding between two options as though the future depends on it. Another person reaches the front and suddenly forgets what food exists. You watch the clock, calculate how much lunchtime remains, and wonder whether you should have packed more snacks. Then, just when the wait feels endless, the line moves quickly and everything changes at once. Lunch conversations can begin anywhere and end somewhere completely unexpected. One person tells a small story, another adds a detail, and soon the whole table is laughing about something that barely makes sense outside the group. These are the moments that make ordinary days memorable. A tiny joke becomes an inside joke. A strange mistake becomes a story repeated for weeks. And just when everyone is relaxed, someone looks at the time and announces that lunch is almost over. Somehow, the shortest part of the day always disappears the fastest. Science class has its own level of suspense. The tables are covered with equipment, the instructions sound serious. And someone always asks what happens if you mix the wrong things. The teacher says, "Do not touch anything yet," which somehow makes everything look more interesting. Goggles go on, materials are measured. Everyone watches the first reaction closely. Sometimes the result is exactly what the book promised. Sometimes it is smaller, louder, stranger, or much funnier than expected. Either way, nobody looks sleepy anymore. Art class feels completely different. Some students plan every line before they begin. Others pick up the first color they see and trust the process. One person creates something incredibly detailed. Another looks at their work, tilts the page, and decides it is abstract. Comparing everyone's results is always entertaining because the same instructions can produce 20 completely different ideas. The best part is that an accidental mark can become the most interesting part of the picture, especially when the artist confidently explains that it was planned from the beginning. Physical education brings a new kind of confidence. Everyone believes they understand the rules until the game starts moving quickly. The ball goes in an unexpected direction. Teammates call out at the same time, and someone celebrates before realizing the point went to the other side. There is always one student who becomes a professional athlete for 10 minutes, and another who discovers a creative reason to stand very far from the action. But when an unlikely move works, the entire gym reacts like a championship has just been won. The last class of the day has its own rhythm. Some students are still taking careful notes. Others are watching the clock with incredible concentration. Someone starts packing early, slowly and quietly, believing nobody will notice. But a zipper in a silent classroom sounds extremely loud. The teacher pauses. The bag stops moving. Everyone pretends nothing happened. Then, as the final minutes disappear, notebooks close faster, chairs shift, and the whole room prepares for the bell without officially admitting that this is happening. When the bell finally rings, students discover a speed they did not have during physical education. Papers vanish into bags, jackets appear, chairs move back. The hallway fills in seconds. Some people rush toward the bus, others head to activities, and friends stop for one final conversation that somehow becomes 5 more conversations. Lockers slam, footsteps echo, and someone remembers an important item at the exact moment they are farthest from the classroom. The school day is ending, but it still has one more chance to create chaos. So, which moment you felt most familiar? Share your favorite in the comments. Because the funniest school moments are always better when everyone compares experiences. And if you enjoyed these unusual hacks and relatable adventures, like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more creative ideas and unexpected stories. Thanks for spending the school day with us. Remember, the next time something small goes wrong, do not panic too quickly. Look around, think differently, and give creativity a chance. Your solution might work perfectly. It might create a hilarious surprise, or it might become the story your friends repeat.